and welcome to another edition of Nation Talk. On today's show, we have Jason Carter. Jason is from Little Red River Cree Northern Community, the John Doerr community in northern Alberta. He is a painter, a sculptor, a designer, and an illustrator. And he is one of Canada's most accomplished contemporary Aboriginal visual artists. Welcome, Jason.
Oh, thank you so much. That's quite the introduction.
Now, Jason, can you just tell us maybe a little bit about how you got into art itself?
I've always been interested in art growing up, and in high school I took art, and it was my best class. And after high school and I went to college, I sort of decided to steer clear of a Bachelor of Fine Arts or anything like that, simply because I sort of saw myself doing other things. So I got a job shooting live television for City TV's Breakfast Television in Edmonton upon graduation from college. And then it was during my 10 years there that I started to kind of re-explore my artistic side. And I was given a piece of soapstone for Christmas in probably 2002, and hauled that sucker around with me for years. And then was looking for something to do one, Thursday evening, and opened up the storage room door, and there was that piece of soapstone, and I used the tools that I had at hand, which was like a screwdriver and a wrench, and 5 hours later on my deck I'd carved a raven and was hooked.
There are different types of marble that you can use, or different types of soapstone? I apologize.
Oh, yes. I carve soapstone and chlorite and alabaster and marble, so all different types of stone. Traditionally, the Inuit use soapstone, which is really soft, kind of greenish, dark green soapstone. I like to kind of explore a little bit of everything. It's fun to be able to carve a giant polar bear in a white alabaster, so it actually looks like a white bear, or a black bear, So there's all of these different types of stone that you can get, and they all have their own kind of intricacies and beauties as well.
So are you saying that it was the sculpting that launched you back into your artistic career as an artist?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, up to then I hadn't been painting or anything like that, or drawing. I was being creative. I had a creative outlet, which was camera work, so that was creatively satisfying. But outside of work, I started doing the carving, and then booked a solo exhibit at an art gallery where I did all of my carving. It's called Sun and Moon Visionaries, Aboriginal Artisan Society. It was a gallery and a studio. And so I was carving there, and then I booked a show there 8 months in the future. And about 3 months away from it, while I was working on all of the carvings, I realized that I wouldn't have anything to put on the walls. So I just painted versions of my carvings on bright, solid colors, and it all kind of evolved from there, and that's where my style kind of all came from. So it all originated from crisp, clean lines from stone carvings into the actual graphic style of my work.
Well, your work there's a beautiful simplicity to it, and almost like an animation look to it that I think is very, very appealing. So like I see some of it, it looks like a cross between animation and the Group of Seven in some ways. Can you speak to us a little bit about, now this must appeal to young people, young children especially, I would think, because there's such a beauty in it, especially in your interpretation of animals.
I published a book with my writing partner, Bridget Ryan, called Who is Boo? The Tales of One Trickster Rabbit. And it's a children's story that is about 66 pages long, and it is just that. It's a children's story. It's been very well received. It's been fascinating because I also opened a gallery in Canmore, Alberta, and I have the book, so 18 paintings or 19 paintings from the book all up in the back of my gallery, with the book as well underneath it, so that when kids come into the gallery with their parents, they're able to read the book around the gallery, kind of being ensconced in an art gallery, but that's also kind of geared towards them. So it's been very well received with kids, and the book is currently being adapted into a feature-length musical as well as a children's animated television series. So it's had legs that I didn't even know existed.
Now, when you're branching out into those kinds of areas, do you have like Aboriginal or First Nations production companies that are working with you?
No, not necessarily. I was approached by a company out of Toronto and New York City, which when I say company, it's like a writing team that write children's musicals. And they are friends of my writer, Bridget Ryan, who wrote the book. Friends of hers who, they used to work together in theater in New York. So it all kind of happened. They saw the book online and then approached us and said they'd love to adapt it. And so it's just kind of happened there. We haven't gone out and actually pursued and tried to get companies, be it Aboriginal or not. They've just been coming to us, and with 900 things I've got going on, it totally works for us that, people come to us and then we can kind of delegate or, steer the creative process from there.
Now, when you say designer, what does that entail?
Well, there's the illustration and the painting and the carving, but I think that within all of that, you have to be a designer because you have to have an eye for design and shape and form and function. So when I say designer, I think designer is really all of it together, exactly. I guess I could just say designer, but then nobody would know what the heck I'm talking about.
Yeah, and I guess you do installation work as well, right?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. We've done a couple of large-scale installations in Edmonton, and right now I'm just putting together my most recent, which is called To Dream the Bear, which opens on December 1st in Canmore, Alberta, which is 16 new carvings. So really excited about the show, and it's also sponsored by the Canada Council, so it's pretty awesome.
Well, I saw one picture online, and it sort of looked like that, but there was a set of drums in the middle of the room. Was that a stage setting?
The gallery itself in Canmore is also a live art venue. So it's the Carter Ryan Gallery and Live Art Venue. And so the space is a gallery, but also it transforms on Saturday nights into a live performance space so that we have musicians and kind of one-man shows and off-Broadway theater, so to speak, that come in, and we bring in 50 seats into this space, and then you're ensconced in all of this bright, colorful art and also seeing a different type of art, like more of a performing art.
Now, have you released your new book, Urban Animals, yet, or is that coming up?
The book launch is on the 6th of December at the VAA, the Visual Arts Alberta Gallery in Edmonton. So that's the official launch date is the 6th, a week from tomorrow, Thursday.
Wow, you must be very excited.
Oh, absolutely. It's a 3-year touring exhibit with the Art Gallery of Alberta. So it goes from community to community to community every 3 weeks, and then it takes a week to move to the next one, and then it's reset up. And so it gets to travel all over Alberta for the next 3 years. And then I've, obviously, with my writing partner, Bridget, put another book together for it. So.
Very nice. Congratulations. Now, do you want to share a website or any other information with our listeners?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. If you wanted to take a look at some of the work, the carvings and the new show, I'll have all of the new carvings up on the Carter Ryan website, which is www.carter-ryan.com. And then there's also my personal website, which is jasoncarter.ca.
Wonderful. Jason, I just want to say thank you so much to you, Chi Miigwech, for being with us here today on Nation Talk. You have got an extraordinary career going for such a young man, and keep up the great work and all the very best. Chi Miigwech.